All right, okay, so now we're getting on to observables. These are pretty awesome features. Actually, in our services, in our with our HTTP requests, we were actually always returning observables, but what we did was we converted it to a promise. So you can see here to promise all the way through with all our requests, and basically that was because we were actually returning a observable. Okay. So with this, what we're going to do is actually work with those observables directly. So if you're wondering what an observable is, it's basically a stream of events that we can process with array-like operators. So let's get into it, and we can kind of uncover what that means exactly. So in this section here, we're going to create a new component called hero search component. But first, we're going to start on the service. So I'm going to right click on the app directory, new file, hero search dot service dot ts. That's all looking good. Now we're going to do our imports first. So we're import injectable because we're going to inject this service into our components. Injectable from Angular core. Right there. And then we're going to import our HTTP and response right here. From Angular HTTP. Angular HTTP right there, and then we want to import our observables. So import observable from Rxjs, which is awesome. And then we're going to import our class hero from the hero file. And then we're going to add in our injectable decorator. Add in the parentheses, then export the class. I'm going to call this hero search service. And there we go. And then we'll add in a constructor as well. And in the body, what we'll do is we'll create a private field. HTTP is of type HTTP that we just imported. So let's create our search method right here. So search. So we'll take a term, which is of type string, which will return observables. So an observable right here, right there, which will be a hero array. And we're going to say return this dot HTTP. Sorry, I'm going to scratch my face. There we go. HTTP dot get dot get, and then we're going to add in our route to our heroes. Name equals, and then we're going to get the term variable. Okay, right there, and then we're going to map it. So we're going to map the response, or is of type response, and we're going to map that to or.json, so response.json .data as hero array. Okay, excellent. That is looking very good. I'm going to just pull this over a little bit so it's just a bit more easier. Okay. Save that. That's looking great. So what we need to do next is go over to the hero search components.html. So what we'll do is, actually this would be a great time to use the Angular CLI, right? So again, that's just me backing up my code on GitHub. What we're going to do here is we're going to, if the people who have started with me using the Angular CLI, what we can do is cd into the app, or cd into the source first, and then into the app directory. And then we're going to create a new component using the Angular CLI. Okay, so ng G for generate, C for component, and then we're going to give it the name of hero search. Okay, so we hit enter, and I'll just quickly open this so you can see right here. And so we have all our new files, and then our hero search popped open somewhere right here. And that was all good, but what I want to do is actually make it on the same level as all these other components. So what I'll do actually is just delete that. So delete it, and I'll type that in again, and then we'll add in the flat flag right there. Okay. So this creates it in the same directory, hence the flat. Okay. So we see that again, and we can see all our search hero components right here. I'm going to delete this hero component.spec.ts. Don't need that one. Okay, and everything else is good. Awesome. So let's collapse that. That was pretty cool. That saved us a bit of time, but we want to go over to the hero component.html. Right here, I'm going to add in a div first. So div, I'll give it an ID of search component. Close that off. Add in some h4s, tags right here. And we'll say hero service, or hero search even. Close that off. Add an input, and we'll give it a local variable of search box, and then we will give it an ID equal to search box, right there. And then we're going to add in an event, which is a very cool one. It's the key up event. And I'll explain what that means now in a minute. But let's just keep going. So we're going to bind this to the search method. And we're going to pass the search box.value. Okay, cool. And we'll close that off right here. So key up, basically, so we'll be putting in text into this input box, and key up is basically the keys that you're hitting on your keyboard and typing in. And so when this will basically trigger that event, and it will invoke the search method, which we will declare in the component. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Let's add in another div right here. And we'll add in one more div again. And we'll do asterisk ng4. And we'll say equals let hero of heroes. And then we're going to use the async pipe, which will subscribe to our observables. And I'll explain what that means in a second as well. And then we're going to add in another click event. And we're going to bind that to go to detail. I'm going to pass that hero. And then we're going to add in a class. And we're going to give that a name of search result. Right there, perfect. And then we're going to bind it to the property hero.name. And then we're going to close out our divs. Okay, Control A, Control Shift I. We got some nice formatting. Save it. I'll just extend this screen so we can just see that everything looks right. Everything does look good. Perfect. So I'll bring that back to the halfway point again, just to keep everything nice and neat. So we close that over. Oh, basically this async pipe, right? We are subscribing to the observables, and observables are lazy in the fact that if you create observables won't actually get instantiated unless you subscribe to them. They'll do nothing. Okay, so I'll dig into that more, but let's just keep going. Okay, we also want to add styles for our component. That's awesome. So copy this, go over here. And also, if you didn't have the Angular CLI, just create the components, right click on the app file and create them there, okay? So just create these files in the other way. And so we'll save that right here in the hero component.css. And then what we'll do is go to the hero search component. So click here, hero search component.ts, and see now because we did this with the Angular CLI, we already have a bit set up, which is pretty cool and saves on a little bit of time. So let's just keep going. So we're going to import our router with a capital R from Angular router. And then we're going to import our observables as well. Observable from Rxjs /observable with a capital O. Right there, that's looking good. And then we're going to import subject. Subject from Rxjs /subject with a capital S. And then we're going to import our hero search service and our hero class as well. So import hero search service from hero search dot service, I think it was. Yep. And then we're going to import our hero as well. Hero from hero. Right, okay, cool. So that's all looking very good right there. So in our component, we already have our selector, and that we will just change to just hero search to keep everything the same. We have our template URL working nicely. We have our styles URLs, and then we want to add in our providers as well. And we're not providing this to all the components, so we only need to provide this to this component. So providers, and we add in our providers array. We pass in our hero search service right here, and everything looks very good. And now we declare our heroes, which is of type observable, which is going to be a list of heroes, an array of heroes. And we'll create a private field right here. So private private search terms equals new subject, which is of type string. And we invoke it right there. Okay, so in the constructor, we'll make two more private fields. So private hero service, hero search service even, is of type hero search service. And then we'll say private router is of type router or router, whichever you prefer, and bring that over here. That's looking good. So now what we're going to do is we are going to push a search term into the observable string. Perfect. So let's create our search method right here. Search, which will take in a term, which we have type string. And it will return void. This dot search terms dot next. We'll pass in the term right there. Perfect. So now let's get on our ng on init. So ng on init returns void. We'll say this dot heroes equals this dot search terms. And so what we want to do is basically when we type in their search terms, we don't want to send requests to the server every second. So what we want to do is debounce time to 300 milliseconds. So after 300 milliseconds of you typing in, and you wait for 300 milliseconds, so distinct until change. So nothing will happen until after those 300 milliseconds. Then we will go get our method. So we'll add in a switch map, which will take in the term, and the term will go into term. And right here, we will add in a question mark. And we'll say this dot hero search service dot search term. Okay, that's looking very good. Observable dot of heroes, the hero array. We'll go into an empty hero array if it does not return anything. Okay, and then we want to catch the error. And what we'll do with this error is we will console log the error. So console log the error to the console, and then return observable dot of hero right there. Perfect. So that is looking pretty good. Let's have a look at our this.heroes and see what's going on right there. So we can see that this.hero type observable is not assignable to type observable array. Type object is not assignable to this. Okay, right. So let's have a look at our heroes right here. And we can see that our heroes is of type heroes array. Okay, so that looks fine. And we are saying this heroes is not assignable to the heroes array. The length is missing in the object. Okay, so we better just keep going on right here, and we can fix that later on. So let's go into our go detail method. We'll say hero is of type hero, which will return void. Let link equal list. We'll say detail hero.id. So we're accessing the router, and we're going to the hero.id, and we're calling the this.router.navigate to the link. So that's looking very good. So now they're drawing our attention, saying focus on the search terms right here. And what they're saying is the subject is a producer of an observable event stream. Search terms produce an observable of strings. The filter criteria for the name search. So that's fine. Now initializing the ng on init right here. So we're saying heroes is of type hero array, which is what we have up above right here. So heroes is of observable type hero array, and we're saying ng on init, and so on load of this page, this is what's going to come up. And so the debounce time 300 basically waits 300 milliseconds before sending a request to the server, and it only does that once this is called after 300 milliseconds. And then the switch map can basically take in many requests, but because this will, no matter what, always send new requests. But what happens if you send a new request and the response hasn't come back to you yet, and then you send another one, and then the next one comes back, but you're only concerned about the new one? So the switch map will just forget about all the other ones and just bring you the most recent one. So that's why it's pretty cool. Okay. So let's continue on and basically import our Rxjs extensions to right here. So what I'm going to do is just basically copy that, because it's just a bunch of imports, And what we'll do is create a new file in the app directory, new file. I'm going to call this Rxjs extensions. .ts. Paste it in there, save it, close it out. And now we're going to register that in the app module. Okay, so I'm going to save everything right here. Then we're going to go into our app module right there. And then we're going to import this. I'll import this just below the HTTP module. So import Rxjs extensions. Save that. So now we're providing the Rxjs extensions globally, which is perfect. And now what we want to do is add in our basically we want to add in our selector right here, the hero search selector, and we want to add that to our dashboard right here. So dashboard component.html right here. Let me close that over. Perfect. Save that. That's looking great. Finally, we import the hero search component into the app module. Well, we've already done that because we used the Angular CLI, which was great. So we can see that we have it in here twice. Oh yeah, because we deleted that one. So just delete this one right here and save that. So if you haven't already have it imported, import it in right here and then add it to your declarations right here, because this is where all your components right go right here. So make sure you only have one right there. Save that. Run the app again and let's have a look at the dashboard. So let's see if that error subsided. And let's run our server. Oh, wait, that was in the wrong place. Let's see if any errors come up and we can go fix them straight away. So that's looking pretty good. So I'll just refresh this page right here. Let this load. I'm going to pull out the console just to make sure everything loads right, which was Control-Shift-I. Bring this down a little bit. Navigate over to the dashboard. Nice one. And if we type in, fantastic, so that worked out very well. All right, okay, so we have a little bit of an error coming up. And it's saying basically error in the search component. Inline template caused by parent go to detail is not a function. So let's just check that out right there. So what we want to do is go over to our search component.html and just check out that the go to detail is the same name. So I'm going to copy that, close that, go over to the hero search component, find the, yes, it's a typo, of course, always. Save this. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Typos are normal. So what we can do is let this refresh. Let this recompile. Instacode, nice one. Click on it and we get it up. Woohoo! Good job, everybody. So we did it. And yeah, so that's pretty cool. Like I'll show you just messing around with the debounce time and stuff like this, just to explain the observables just a little bit better. So if I go back and close this out, and okay, so say we say debounce, right? Like if we change this to 1 second, say 1.5 seconds, it'll be a bit more obvious. Okay, so say we type this and we don't want, say this is just a normal search thing, and we're saying we want to pull up Mr. IQ. Oh, we need to let it recompile. So we just let it recompile. Cool. So say we want to pull up Mr. Nice. So it's a wait 1.5. There we go. And it pulls up. So that was the debounce time. Okay. So it's basically putting on a limit of the request. It's not going to send a request until you reach 1.5 or 1,500 milliseconds. Okay. And so that's pretty much the reason why. Distinct until changed. And then switch map. And yeah, so that's looking great. And congratulations, everybody. I'm going to bring that back to 300. But if you want to save the resources on your server, you can kind of mess with that as well. And so you'll just find the right niche that works for you. Okay, good job, everybody. I'll catch you in the next series. We'll be doing way more Angular tutorials. Basically working with users, how to sign in users, how to create your own API, how to create login tokens and get them, and create local storage, and yeah, so all of that stuff. So stay tuned, click a like, subscribe, and I'll catch everybody later.